Hey there, everyone. Our favorite shows, movies, and books do a fantastic job of taking us on adventures, big and small. But the best examples leave us wanting more, and Steven Universe is definitely one of those shows. No matter how great the adventure of the Crystal Gems seems to us, there are things we hope we get to see, and today I wanted to share some of those things with you. Now, some of these might be a bit obvious, while some may be a little more detailed, and at least a couple will be pretty unlikely, but we'll talk about them anyway. I'm going to start with the kind of big one. Despite all the fusions we've seen, I want to see more. We've seen Steven and Amethyst, so let's see him with Garnet or Pearl. Let's see all four of them together. I'm more than ready to see Lapidot. When Steven and Amethyst first fused, Smokey mentioned that Amethyst knew who she was. That to me was proof that Rose and Amethyst had fused, which makes me want to see Rose fuse with the others. If Jasper ever reforms and joins the Crystal Gems, maybe we can get a few fusions with her. In fact, I'd love a scene where a reconciled Lapis and Jasper fuse, but because they're now friends, Malachite has a new, more stable form. Fusion is such a fascinating aspect of the show as a metaphor for an intimate relationship, and those kind of connections not only change who we are, but change because of who we are at the time. There's a lot of potential there for storytelling and character development, and I want to see more of it. This seems like an obvious one, and I do believe we'll see it, but I want to see Pearl's backstory. Some have argued that originally she belonged to Rose, and that's how she came to fight at Rose's side. However, we've heard her referred to as a renegade Pearl, and if she stuck with her original owner, that wouldn't technically be the case. Was she Pink Diamonds or one of the other diamonds? Was she a random Pearl who just liked what she felt when she saw Rose and decided to follow her anywhere? Maybe her owner was poofed and she was captured, and over time came to realize that Rose's way of living was better than anything she'd been taught. Like I said, I believe we'll find out one day, but I'm definitely anxious to. Speaking of backstories, this one might be a bit tricky, but I'd love to see Rose's backstory, including a little about her service before the war, how she came to fall in love with Earth, and the moment she decided to betray the authority and start a rebellion against them. I think the best and easiest way to show us this is through a telling of the history of the Gem War. Since I doubt the diamonds are going to give us an unbiased recount of history, maybe one day we'll be able to travel into Steven's gem and find Rose's memories. Now that would be quite a journey. While we're on the subject of Rose, we all know she gave up her physical form to give Steven a body of his own. What we don't exactly know is how she did it. I'd love to see the exact moment when the transformation happened, even though I know it'll make us all cry. Was it as simple as a shapeshift, or was it much more tragic, such as her injuring herself to destabilize her form, then reforming as baby Steven? I have a feeling that second one might be a bit too brutal for Steven Universe, but my point is just that we don't actually know what happened. This next one is one I believe we'll see, but not necessarily as in-depth as I'd like to see it. Homeworld. I want to see it, even if we see it through the eyes of characters other than the Crystal Gems. More importantly though, I want to hear about life on Homeworld from Homeworld Gems. What's it like living there? Is the Diamond Authority a dictatorship, or are they considered fair and just leaders? How much do Homeworld Gems know about the Gem War from 6,000 years ago? When Peridot first heard the name Crystal Gems in the episode Marble Madness, she seemed to have never heard of them. How much do the Diamonds suppress that information? I feel like there's a lot of interesting storytelling there. We've seen some pretty cool places in the world of the Crystal Gems, and while we have yet to see many more, one thing I'm hoping happens is that we get more in-depth details about some of the places we've already seen. If you've watched my theory video about what happened to Pink Diamond, you'll know I've got an idea about the Geode. I'd love to hear more about the various spires, the ancient Sky Arena, and even places from the comics like Canary Cove. I just hope that as we get to see new places, they don't ignore some of the old ones and whatever significance they may have. I also did a theory video about how I believe the temple works, so for this one, I guess what I want in part is the truth. I'd love to know the history of the temple. How does it work? What was its original purpose? Why is there a giant statue of our favorite gems fused together on the outside? I should probably mention that I do believe the statue is of the gems fused together, who I like to call Zirconia. Anyway, the bottom line is, I want to know. I have a feeling this one is a bit of a stretch, but I'd be extremely interested to see a fight between Jasper and Bismuth. It's likely we'll see Jasper again, but I wouldn't be surprised if we never saw Bismuth again, no matter how awesome she is. Still, a fight between them would be awesome. So we've seen the kindergartens, we've seen the injectors, we've seen the holes. What we haven't seen is the process. I want to see how a gem is made from start to finish. What goes into the ground? How long do they grow before they break free? And when they do, what happens next? When Jasper returns, maybe her remembering her life will include the story of a gem's creation, but we could also easily get that story from either the discovery of an old ship's logs or records, or even from a short that tells us all about it, similar to the What Are Gems and Fusion shorts. Last but not least, curing corruption seems, in my opinion, to be one of the final directions the plot will take us in. I'd kinda hate for that to be the final adventure though. There are so many corrupted gems we've met who I'd personally love to get to know after they're healed. Centipedals and the Centipedal Mother, the Heaven and Earth Beetles, and the Snow Monster and Orange Great North Monster from the episodes Gem Hunt and Crack the Whip are just several of the uncorrupted gems I want to meet and learn more about. Again, I bet there's so much story there to hear about. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to my ideas about what I'd want to see in future episodes of Steven Universe. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see down the road for the Crystal Gems, or if just a few more years worth of episodes is good enough for you. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and have a great day.